this picture here, it's in Beijing, and this is a Chinese People's Army soldier, and he's standing before the European flag. And they had a special meeting, and the people told China that they stand a serious risk of having some economic implications from Europe's debt crisis and so on. Now, I know that China and India are, on the verge. They're thinking in terms of like a little more and we can become superpowers. But as I said all the time, that there ain't gonna be no more superpower. It's like Asia had already ruled the world. I don't get a second chance. Africa ruled it, Asia ruled it, Europe ruled it. So is everybody ruling? Now it's time for God to rule, huh? And then again, I said that you see how you become a superpower is like you have to go and take the other country stuff. Like Babylon took all the learning from Egypt, took it up to Baghdad, and took it to the next level. Then Iran came and took it from Babylon, took it to the next level. Then the Greeks took it to the next level. But it's that the world doesn't tell you much about the Persian, the Babylonian, and the Egypt accomplishments. It started talking about Greece, Pythagoras, and Euclid, and all these, the guy with the oath, and all these people and so on. And they copy all that stuff from the past. And then you hear about Rome, the Rome is all this and all that stuff. And then Germany knocked off Rome, so they were de facto. So they took all the learning up there, and they thought all these people were barbarians, but I think they took some of the smart people out of Rome, or seeing that the laws, these smart people decided to gravitate to Germany and work on the stuff, so that Germany disputes America's claim to develop the aircraft. They think that they sort of were working that a long time ago. I don't know how that would settle, but the point is this: that with the nuclear arsenals that everybody has, there isn't going to be any winner. So China nor India will not be able to. And by the way, the guys that knocked off Germany, England, or Britain, America, France, Russia, and some others, Australia, Canada, they were able to get some of the intelligence, some of the scientists, and some of the programs, and so on. And it took it to the next level. So it's very hard for China or India and India to grab all these boys and get the secrets. And as I said in another video, you might grab a guy that's saying he's the scientist working on this thing, but this guy don't have a clue what's going on. He's just white and just know somebody belongs to some secret society thing there, and they put him in there, but he don't have a clue what's going on. So you might end up getting some guys and you still don't have the programs, so you're still going to be at risk. But then China's realizing that, or I know that, China and Japan, they hardly have resources now. They might be saving theirs for the final end, but that's a waste of time strategy anyway. So they buy most of the stuff they need and then they sell, okay? And they were able to keep costs low, and so they have a favorable balance of payment, and the comparative advantages in their favor, because the quality of life for most people is kind of like different, and in India and in China, so that to make a car in America it might cost, let me say, 10,000 US dollars, but in China it might cost $1,000. So they could still sell it at 11 and make a whole bunch of money. But if Europe and America were to have some serious economic problems and can't do any buying again, well, who China is going to sell to? Africa, Caribbean, where? To Asia. Well, them in Asia feel that they're entrepreneurs and they're opulent and they're business people and they're merchants and all that stuff. So all they want to sell, they're buying nothing. So I guess for the first time they're realizing that growth is contingent on these countries doing well. Now, I noticed they're trying to buy into France, into Europe's debt, instruments. But yet they were telling America, you need to watch the military spending and your social programs because, loans are a problem now, okay? So I'm not sure which they really want to survive now. Should I go to this analysis? if now America really needed this loan to do whatever, and America has to cut back right back. And then, it's like America's it. If America, declines significantly, the whole world is over. Europe could die 100 times and the world will drag on because America is strong. And so China and India, better. I see another thing, even with governments. Um, Governments trying to be austere and cut back programs, but if they were to keep spending still and do the tax thing, I think they'll do better off because if they were to spend $100 and it goes around with the multiply effect about 10 times, 100 by 10 is 1,000, and their taxes is almost more than 25%. And let me say, we know that some people do estate planning and claim all these things over all these deductions and all these scams and go with. But let me look at it as straight up, let me say 30%. So the money generates, the 100 they spend, generate 1,000, and they're going to get 30%, which is $300 in taxes. So they spend 100 to get 300, they head by 2. Now, some folks don't understand that. Schwarzenegger thought that, just so we balance our checkbooks at home, you could balance the states. And even though the state had a whole bunch of surplus and money when he came on, they almost bankrupted the place. And there goes, celebrity, no education folks running stuff. You see what I'm saying? So with China, if they were to lend us $1 billion and we buy $1 trillion worth of stuff from them, well, not so much. Let me say that they give us $1 billion and we spend $20 billion with them. With the multiply effect, that might end up to $60 billion. I don't know the tax rate over there, but they might get back anything like 8 or 9 billion. So the point is this, that it's just that people are kind of like, I lend you something, you got to give me it back. I mean, Jesus talked about that. He said, this guy, he had owed me some money, and I met him and said, don't worry about it, bro, everything is good. And he said, thank you. But when he went down the street, he met some guy that owed him a couple of bucks, and he grabbed the guy by his neck and said, give me my money now or else I'll kill you. And so Christ went back to him and said, you know what, you're a wicked fellow. I'm going to put you in jail for my money because there was no consideration for me writing off the debt, and you still owe me the money, and therefore I'm going to, resurrect the debt, and you still have to pay it, and if you can't pay it, I'll put you in jail. So why China would want to collect on, say, a trillion when we buying like 50 trillion, like it generating that kind of sort of GDP, and then the taxes, it's more. Just keep giving us the money and let go around and come around and let things go on, for a little bit. So I guess China understands, and this is probably why they're trying to get folks not to go into the Middle East in this big war anyway, because perhaps they have an inclination that it might cause things to collapse. I mean, NATO, if the countries that run NATO go away, it's like China and one about itself. So for self-interest reasons, perhaps they're saying, hey, no, don't go there. So we can continue having business and continue making money together, huh? You know what I mean? But some folks just have fun in doing some stuff. But you know what? Folks just have fun selling drugs and using drugs. And then girls will say, I enjoy being a prostitute. But then sometimes the girls get their head shot off. And drug boys, it's how they end up, dead too. And end up mentally problems, heart attacks and all that. So be careful what you like. And maybe China and Russia is teaching us something that we need to learn.